Hey Thunderbolts, it's me, Static The Hedgehog here. Today on Friday, I read the next history of the SATAM characters, and forgive me that I read not quite well because words can be difficult sometimes. But anyway, that's all for now and let us begin. So, the next character today is Bunnie Rabbot. Little else known about Bunnie's past, except that she was a friend with Sonic and the other knockout freedom fighters during childhood. In the 32-24, however, together with the other children, Bunnie was taken to the knockout fairs after Dr. Robotnik came to the power in Mobotropolis. Under unspecified circumstances later on, Bunnie was partially roboticized. While in the knockout village, Bunnie helped Sally and Rotor build catapults. Later at night, Bunnie tried to sleep. At the same time thought she acted to comfort Sally, who was worrying about Sonic, who had gone to Robotropolis. Later, Bunnie helped fend off a boss-born attack on Knockhole. Bunnie eventually took a part attack on the SWAT factory in Robotropolis, together with Sonic and Sally. During the mission, Bunnie turned off the factory's power, allowing Sonic to plant explosions inside of it. Bunnie retreated afterwards the Knockhole, only discovered after Sonic returned that Sally was missing. Sonic thought to run off to save her and eventually came back with her. The next day, Bunnie noticed that the cows in her garden were dying. Later, she learned from Sonic that their SWAT factory was still functioning. As such, Bunnie returned to Robotropolis with Sonic, Rotor, and Sally to relaunch the attack on factory. They noticed, however, that their opponents were anticipating their every move as they snuck across to the city. Bunnie and Co. soon after discovered that Sally, who Sonic saved, was in fact a Sallybot, a robotic agent serving Robotnik, who promptly ran away once her cover had been blown. After Sonic ran after Sallybot, Bunnie will catch up to them and save Sonic from Sallybot when she immobilized him with some Mega Mach. Later, after neutralizing Sallybot, Bunnie and Rotor intercepted a Hoover unit and used it to destroy the SWAT factory, where Sonic rescued the real Sally. Later, Bunnie, Antoine, Rotor met up with Sonic and Sally in the subway in Robotropolis after the trio failed to find old parts from Roboticizer at the junkyard. There, Bunnie and her group learned that Sonic and Sally had seen the robotic-sized Chuck head for the crystal mine. Deciding to follow the Chuck, Bunnie and her group headed towards the crystal mine in a trolley just as they came under attack by the SWAT bots. After later finding and capturing Chuck, the group gave him a power ring that restored his mind and free will. Upon regaining his sense, however, Chuck took Bunnie and her group into a crystal mine to stop Robotnik forces from extracting a giant energy crystal. If that crystal was removed, Mobius' ecosystem would be destroyed. Bunnie just joined Sonic and Chuck on a mission to help them take over the Dinobot, leading the excavation. With each side of her mechanical arm, Bunnie managed to get the Dinobot mouth open, thus allowing her and Sonic get inside the Dinobot. After Bunnie, Sonic, and Chuck took control of the Dinobot together, they managed to destroy the energy crystal with it. Bunnie and her other freedom fighters subsequently fled the crystal mine on board a train. However, they had to leave Chuck behind, as he soon reverted back to aggressive work, but once more and could thus hurt their escape from the SWAT-bots. Bunnie and Tails later stop Sonic doing his running trip trots to the greatest force under the show him to an airplane that they had been helping to knock out Freedom Fighter build. The Freedom Fighter Stormer. With the Freedom Fighter Stormer, Bunnie and her friends planning to fly the Mega and find the secret scrolls. When they took off in the Freedom Stormer, however, Bunnie and her friends almost crashed, but Rotor managed to stabilize the airplane. When Bunnie and co. later landed near Mega, Sonic kept them from slipping off a cliff. While in Mega, Bunnie and her group managed to find the secret scrolls, but Dr. Robotnik, Sniffly, and the SWAT-bot appeared to take the scrolls from them. Sonic, however, managed to turn the villain's attention away, giving Bunnie and her friends a chance to escape. Later, Sonic managed to blow Robotnik and his lackeys off a cliff using the Breath of Mobius, which was located in Mega. With a successful mission under their belt, Bunnie and her friends returned to the Freedom Stormer and flew back home in it. Bunnie soon after helped Rotor build a new water wheel by bringing pots to it. Later, she and Sally will help Rotor construct the watermill. At the same time, Bunnie comforted Sally when she expressed the worry about Sonic, who had gone to the Forbidden Zone. However, after Robotnik got Laterzz's computer, he used it to teleport Bunnie to Robotropolis. Upon arriving, Bunnie was that Sally, who had been teleported to Robotnik as well, was in danger. As such, she attacked the SWAT-bots and tried to release Sally from her shackles. However, she got stunned when she was shot by a laser rifle. With both Bunnie and Sally imprisoned, Robotnik casted a hypnosis spell on them and used Laterzz's computer, thus turning them into his slaves. When the Doctor then teleported Sonic to him, Bunnie and Sally tried to take him to Robotic Sizer. Sonic, however, escaped them. While Sally and Bunnie tried to catch him, Sonic regained Laterzz's computer and cancelled the spells cast by Robotnik. With Sally and Bunnie now free, they fled with Sonic to the Forbidden Zone. There, they returned the computer to Laterzz's and said goodbye to him before he departed. Bunnie and her friends then returned to Knockhole, where the Rotor showed them that there a new water wheel was now operational. Bunnie, Sonic, and Sally later attacked the power generator in Robotropolis. All thought they managed to destroy it. Robotnik soon revealed that he had a backup generator ready. Bunnie soon after decided to join Sally and on an attack on the backup generator. Meanwhile, Sonic decided to enter a racing competition Robotnik had organized, which was taking place in Robotropolis in order to distract Robotnik and his forces. On the night before the mission, Sally was worried about how Sonic fared on his own, but Bunnie was eased her worries while reading a bedtime story to Tails. The next day, Bunnie went to Robotropolis with Antoine and Sally. When they reached the backup generator, Antoine tried to destroy it. Instead, thought he ended up on a conveyor belt that he was taking him towards some gears to crush it. In it offered Antoine, Bunnie and Sally tried to slow down the conveyor belt. Fortunately, Sonic soon arrived and helped them and saved Antoine while destroying the generator by inserting a power between its gears. Bunnie and the other Freedom Fighters later watched Sonic destroy the Shredder when it began cutting down to the graded forest. Later, after returning the knock-hole, Bunnie congratulates Sonic for his feat. However, Bunnie later discovered that Antoine had disappeared with the power ring. Rotor then explained that he, in an attempt to help Antoine think of way in the impress Sally, jokingly and suggested that he should capture Robotnik. Ultimately, Antoine was rescued by Sonic, and the two returned to Knockhole. But Bunnie did not want to hear Antoine's story about how he saved Sonic. Later, Bunnie and the other Knockhole freedom fighters were woken up middle of the night by a rocket booster that crashed near the Knockhole. Afterwards, Bunnie helped Antoine set up the repaired rocket booster so that it the right angle for that takeoff. Also, Sonic and Rotor could use the rocket booster to fly up the Robotnik Sky Spy and destroy it before it could locate the knothole. After the duo returned from successfully ensuring the Sky Spy destruction, Bunnie congratulated Sonic and Rotor for a job well done. Later, Bunnie, Antoine and Sally met up with Rotor to revive SWAT disguise. Thanks to them, they were able to get close to the Cloudbuster, with Robotnik plan to spray chemicals into the atmosphere with the other to create toxic rain. During the mission thoughts, Antoine was trembling in fear, forcing Bunnie to calm him down. Infiltrating the Cloudbuster staff, Bunnie and Antoine stood guard outside where Sally went inside the Cloudbuster to hack its computer. However, Antoine eventually dropped his helmet in the front of a SWAT bot. Bunnie tried to destroy the SWAT bot who noticed him, but she was quickly surrounded by another SWAT bot, and he had to give up. With their cover blown, Bunnie, Sally and Antoine were arrested and brought to the Sniffery. Sniffery subsequently took Bunnie, Antoine and Sally to an island of Nimbus, where they would stand before Robotnik. For a plan to lure Sonic into a trap, Dr. locked the trio up in a cage. When Sonic later arrived to save Bunnie and the others thought the Cloudbuster had already begun spraying the chemicals into the atmosphere. Meanwhile, Sonic, who had recently suffered a horrific nightmare, was too scared to do anything. Sonic, however, managed to snap out of his nightmare dash and destroy the Cloudbuster. Afterward, he gave Sally a power ring to break the energy bars of their cage with. As Sally pushes the power ring against the bars, Bunnie and Antoine helped Sally hold the power ring in place. Once the trio was free, Sonic grabbed them and escaped the island of Nimbus with them, just before the island sank into a river. Rotor, Sally and Sonic would later work on Bunnie's leg ladders, but they encountered some trouble while adjusting them. After they were ready, Bunnie helped her friends pick apples from the orchard. Eventually thought she found out from Tails that he had to take her on baby theropod, known as Baby T, into a Knockhoft village. When the group decided that it was best for a Baby T to return to his herd, said her would run past the Knockho. Noticing that the theropods who were on their enyo migration to Boulder Bay were migrating in the wrong direction, Bunnie and her friends decided to follow the herd. Eventually, the group reached the Great Jungle, where they noticed that some Steelbots and Robotnik hovercrafts were approaching. In order to escape the villains, Bunnie and her friends fled into a great jungle with the theropods. Along the way, Sonic was catched around the leg by a vine that pulled him over a mud pool. Bunnie, Sally and Rotor tried to give Sonic some solid footing to land by trying to push a tree trunk into a mud pool. but they move away so that Mama T could do it for them, which in turn saves Sonic in time. During the subsequent journey, however, the heroes were attacked by the Steel Bots. Bunnie and her friends thus fled on the back of Mama T and Baby T, only for Robotnik to trap them inside force field. Robotnik then tried to kidnap Mama T with a case attached to his hovercraft. After Robotnik catch Mama T in that case and began to reel her in touch, Sonic found his way up to the cage and tried to unhook it. Using her legs ladders, Bunnie was able to help Sonic. When the cage began to fall down towards her, however, Bunnie tried to get away, only for her leg to lock up. Fortunately, the cage stopped right before it hit Bunnie, whose leg was then unlocked by Rotor with a remote control. Afterward, Bunnie managed to get away from under the cage, while Mama T escaped from said cage. Bunnie and her friends then managed to escape after Sonic made a whole force field with a Power Wing and powered Super Spin. After the lost Robotnik, Bunnie and her friends escorted the herd of the Terrapos Boulder Bay, and it turned out that the Terrapos were going in the right direction all along. Eventually, Bunnie tended to Dorothy after they collided with a tree. Later, Sally, Rotor, and Sonic uses Bunnie as a test subject for the robotic sizer, which managed to restore Bunnie organic body parts, much to Bunnie's joy. After the heroes to robotic sized Uncle Chuck as well, Bunnie began discussing with Sally about the latter's plans to the robotic size more worker bots. While they talked, however, Bunnie's limbs became mechanical again. After she was consulted by Sally, Bunnie went with her and Dulcie to stop Chuck, who had become a worker bot again and kidnapped Antoine and Tails. In fatally thoughts, they returned to the knockhole to get Sonic's help. Later, Bunnie, Dulcie, and Sally found Sonic stuck in a pool of Megamach, which they managed to drag him out of. Later, after returning the knockhole, Bunnie helped clean up from the robotic sizer which Chuck had destroyed. Bunnie, Sally, and Dulcie later wait for Sonic, who was supposed to bring them a letter from Chuck. In Robotropolis, when Sonic finally arrived with the message, Bunnie and her group learned that robotic sizer has been moved somewhere else, which means that they had to abort their mission. Bunnie, Sally, and Dulcie thus returned to Knockout Trails, where Sonic went to get a chili dog. When Sonic did not return, however, Bunnie, Sally, and Dulcie went to Robotropolis, where Sally went with Chuck to look for Sonic. It was soon after discovered that Sonic had been hit by a memory scrambler, and that Sniffly was now using the amnesiac Sonic to locate the knockhole. Bunnie, Sally, and Dulcie thus returned to Knockhole and warned everyone about the incoming threat. When Sniffy later approached the Knockout, where Sonic tried to gather all the Knockout Freedom fighters, Bunnie and her friends hid in an underground shelter, with Chuck joining them in the shelter. There, Chuck revealed that he could restore Sonic memory if they gave him the Power Ring. Bunnie and the others thus stayed in the shelter while Sally, Chuck, and Tails went to get the Power Ring. Eventually thought Sniffly found Bunnie and Co. and treated them to the memory scramble. Fortunately, Sniffly was stopped by Sonic. Bunnie's history was later slightly altered when Sonic and Sally went back in the time to stop Dr. Robotnik before he rose the power Mobotropolis. In the past, young Bunnie was left in the care of Rose together with young Antoine, young Rotor, young Sally, and young Sonic when Chuck had to go to meet the king with the time-traveling version of Sonic and Sally. However, young Sonic would later ignore their order to stay put in favor of checking out what's happening at the palace. Young Bunnie and the other children subsequently followed the young Sonic to the palace, only for them to get catched by SWAT-bots. Locked in jail, young Bunnie and the other children were sent to robotic sites. Young Bunnie was supposed to be the first to robotic sites, but the time-traveling version of Sonic and Sally managed to save young Bunnie by turning the robotic sizer off for a few hours. By the time the robotic sizer started functioning again, Sonic and Sally managed to rescue young Bunnie and the other children, and helped them evacuate the knockout with Rosie. Later on, Bunnie would teach Tails martial arts. During her lesson, Antoine came and asked her to train him as well. Although Bunnie thought he was a lost cause. After Antoine showed his little progress after extensive training with Bunnie, he disappeared into a great forest. As such, Bunnie and the other knockout freedom fighters went to looking from him. When they found him, however, they discovered that he had become the king of the nasty hyenas. The group tried to convince Antoine to return home with them, only for Antoine to resign from the freedom fighter as a result. Despite this, Bunnie and her friends will save Antoine when the nasty hyenas to try to eat him. After returning the knuckle, Bunnie listened to Antoine's story about how he fought the hyenas. Later, Bunnie to try to help Dulcie land safely, but to no avail. Afterwards, she listened to Sonic's story about Dulcie saving him in Robotropolis. Immediately after, however, Bunnie saw Dulcie having strange traces in her wings, and suggested that she slap it off. Later at night, Bunnie will watch Nicole's holographic display of Dulcie's dream with Sonic and Sally. Soon afterward, Dulcie flew off. Immediately after, Bunnie, Sonic, and Sally learned from Chuck that Robotnik sought to catch Dulcie at the dragon's nest, promoting Sonic and Sally to head out to rescue Dulcie. After returning, Sally and Dulcie left Bunnie to take care of a dragon egg from which a baby dragon will soon be hatching. All thoughts, Bunnie could barely keep an eye on the living egg, to the mother dragon who arrived with knuckles just as a healthy baby dragon hatched from the egg. Afterward, Bunnie said goodbye to the mother dragon and her child when they left to find a palace where Robotnik could never find them. Bunnie was later helping Sally research to Mandoras when Sonic brought them to a mysterious artifact that Sally believed had ties to the Mandoras. After Sonic resumed the Robotropolis to meet with Chuck, however, the artifact released a red energy field that kidnapped Bunnie and Sally. The pair later woke up in a void, where they were interrogated by the sorcerer Nagus. It turned out that he needed Sonic to escape from the void, which Robotnik had imprisoned him in years ago, to lure Sonic to him. Nagus promptly frozen Bunnie and Sally in the crystals. He later unfroze them when Sonic arrived. Sonic did not want to help Nagus, however, so he took Bunnie and Sally with him, fleeing towards to the portal leading out of the void. However, Nagus cut them off by imprisoning them inside the tunnel. In response, Sonic used his super spin to take them out of the tunnel to a place that resembled the King Palace. Inside the palace, Bunnie, Sally, and Sonic found the king, who seemed very ill. Upon seeing them, the king asked Sonic to take him out of the void. The hedgehog agreed, and together with the king, Sonic found the portal out of the void and took the king trust to it. Soon after, however, Bunnie and Sally met Ari and the real king. As it turns out, the person whom Sonic took out of the void was exactly Negus, impersonating the king. Soon after, Sonic came back and took Bunnie, the king, Sally, and Ari out of the void. Outside the void, however, Bunnie learned that Negus and the king had to return to the void, or they were turned into dead crystal statues. Bunnie then saw Negus and the king return to the void with the aid of Negus' magic. Later, during the winter, Bunnie, Sally, and Tails escaped from their huts after they saw Dulcie come crashing towards them. Ultimately, Dulcie destroyed the huts. Later, Bunnie and the others fleeing the fighters gathered around Antoine's hut after hearing Antoine's deranged screams and yells come out of it. Shortly thereafter, the heroes saw a huge tree collapse on the top of Antoine's hut. Bunnie later took a part of Sally's operation to keep Robotnik fuel tankers from delivering fuel to the Doomsday Machine. While Sonic distracted the guards around the fuel tanker convoy, Bunnie, Antoine, and Sally and used the magnets to attach themselves to the bottom of the fuel tankers gases and will the powered water into their tanks. However, the SWAT eventually detected the heroes and surrounded them. Luckily, Sonic came to the rescue and managed to get Bunnie and the others away from sight by leading them into a sewer. Later, Rotor showed Bunnie and Sally a Hoover unit, which he had found in the Great Swamp, and both repaired and sewed it up. He also showed them mechanical poster, pigeon, and security transporter, the latter of which will grant Bunnie and Sally access to all of the Robotnik's building. Using the boat to the Hoover unit and the transponder, Sally and Bunnie went to the Doomsday Machine and got the schematics. They also managed to describe the Robotnik's top secret daily operation files, which revealed that Robotnik was into Chuck's spy work in Robotropolis, which means that Chuck was in danger. After sending the Robo Pigeon to the knockout with that piece of information, Bunnie and Sally flew to Robotropolis. There they met Dulcie and Sonic and the latter who had broke into Antoine's as well. After dunking off Antoine, Sonic hurried back to Chuck's hideout, only to discover that Chuck was gone. After Sonic later saved Chuck from interrogation in Robotnik's headquarters, Bunnie and Sally met up with them in their Hoover unit and flew them to safety. Afterwards, Chuck took Bunnie and Co. to his new hideout where he was going to continue his spy work. Bunnie and Sally also promised Chuck that they would take care of Sonic, who was sad because his uncle refused to return to Knockout with him for now. Eventually, Robotnik started the Doomsday Project, whose goal was to destroy all life on planet. Shortly after its activation starts, Bunnie took part in an attack on Doomsday Machine with Antoine, Sully, and Sonic. Getting into Doomsday Machine were their allies to create a distraction. Bunnie will urge Antoine so that he he did not attract the attention of the local tech bots. Eventually, the heroes reached to the machine doomsday pod assembly line. There, after discovering that their allies had all been captured, Sonic convinced his friend to evacuate to save in one of the doomsday pods, where he took care of the doomsday machine. After the doomsday machine was destroyed and Robotnik disappeared along with it, Bunnie returned to Knuckle to celebrate their victory with the freedom fighters. Bunnie is very warm and friendly person who always is ready to help others. Ik ben... She always there to offer shoulder to lean on, and namely when she helps or comfort Sally whenever she has problematic topics on her mind. She also has a mature side to her, as been by how she take care of the young Tails by reading him bedtime stories and teaching him martial arts. Bunnie is very emotional when it comes to her mechanical body. She eventually misses being a fully organic being, as she was very happily out at regaining organic body parts when she was temporarily to robotic size and would cry when her mechanical parts came back. Bunnie is usually patient and tolerant. However, she does have a limit for much she can take, as she often do get irritated by Antoine's clumsiness and pompous behavior when they have to do something together. Sorry guys for messing up because my mother is calling me. But I said to my mother she's busy. But anyway, let's start it again. Okay. Bunnie is an expert in martial arts. She mainly uses her legs in combat, often the delivery of powerful flying kicks that can topple her opponents. Her mechanical limbs and also provide her with tremendous strength. With one of the mechanical arms, Bunnie can pick up the items that are much larger and heavier than herself. In addition, her robotic limbs are telescopic, allowing her to lengthen both her arm and legs. Although Bunnie's robotic parts work flawlessly, for the most part, they are prone to malfunction, leaving them beyond her control. Her telescopic legs has caused her several problems in the past, and she usually needs help from someone to fix her bolts. Additionally, Antoine was once able to pull her robotic arm off her shoulder. So that is all for now. I hope you all enjoyed the history of the characters that you learn about. And for the next time on Friday, I read the next character history. So have a nice day and enjoy your day. Laterzzz Thunderbolts. Bye.